They fired the quiet night nurse until 4 black subs arrived looking for Shadow Angel. At midnight, rain poured over the glass roof of St. Gabriel Medical Center, a small hospital on the western edge of Denver. Inside the emergency room, cold white lights washed over the tile floor. Heart monitors beeped in steady rhythm. Gurney wheels rolled through the hallway. Families whispered prayers behind pale blue curtains. In the center of the ER, Anna Mercer, a 33-year-old night nurse, stood silently in front of the nurse's station. She wore faded blue scrubs, worn thin at the wrists. Her hair was tied low at the back of her neck. Her face looked tired, but her eyes stayed calm. Standing in front of her was Dr. Malcolm Reed, the hospital's head of emergency medicine. He threw a file onto the counter. "Anna, you're done." The entire ER went silent. Anna looked at him. She didn't cry, she didn't argue, she didn't beg. Reed pointed toward the employee exit. "You ignored my order, you embarrassed this department, and you put this hospital at risk." Anna answered quietly, "I kept a patient alive." Reed gave a cold laugh. "You're a nurse, not a surgeon, not a commander, and definitely not the person in charge here." A few young doctors lowered their eyes. No one said a word. Beside Reed, Carla Jennings, the charge nurse, placed a small cardboard box on the counter. "Clean out your locker." Anna looked at the box. Inside were only a few simple things: a black notebook, a pen, a chipped coffee mug, and an old photograph lying face down. She picked up the box, then she turned toward the employee exit. That was when 4 black SUVs with no visible plates pulled into the ER entrance. No sirens, no flashing lights, no announcement, just the sound of tires grinding across the wet pavement. A security guard stepped out to stop them. The door of the first SUV opened. 3 men in black suits stepped out. Behind them were 2 soldiers in dark uniforms. The man in front raised his badge. The guard immediately stepped back. The group walked straight into the ER. Dr. Reed frowned. "Can I help you?" The man in the suit didn't look at him. He scanned the emergency room and asked one question: "Where is Anna Mercer?" Every eye turned toward Anna. She was still standing near the employee exit, holding the cardboard box. Reed stepped forward. "She no longer works here." The man in the suit looked at him for the first time. His eyes were cold as steel. "That's not your decision tonight." The air inside the ER froze. A female agent stepped forward behind him. She was in her 40s with short hair, a black rain-soaked coat, and the eyes of someone who had read too many buried files. She looked straight at Anna. Then she said, "We need Shadow Angel." Dr. Reed narrowed his eyes. "Shadow what?" Anna didn't blink, but her hand tightened slightly on the edge of the cardboard box. No one in that hospital knew that name. But Anna Mercer had spent 7 years trying to forget it, and tonight her past had found her. 7 hours earlier, Anna Mercer had started her shift like any other night. No one noticed when she entered the hospital through the back door at 5 in the afternoon. Anna was not the kind of person people turned around to look at. She didn't talk much, didn't chase credit, didn't complain, and didn't sit in the break room telling stories about her life. At St. Gabriel, she was the kind of nurse who was always there when needed, but rarely remembered when everything went right. She changed sheets, cleaned rooms after emergency cases, counted supplies, calmed frightened families, took weekend shifts when others called out. If there was dirty work, hard work, work no one else wanted, they called Anna. Carla Jennings, the charge nurse, handed her the assignment sheet, beds 2, 6, and 11. Then supply inventory. Anna looked at the patient board. Bed 4 had an elderly man with chest pain who had been waiting too long. Bed 8 had a young woman named Mara Lane, brought in by EMS after shortness of breath and fainting. Anna said Mara Lane needs another set of vitals. Carla didn't look up. "She's covered. Her pulse was irregular when she came in." Carla sighed. "Anna, I need beds turned over." "Not another lecture." Anna went quiet. She took the assignment sheet, then she went to work. Across the ER, Dr. Malcolm Reed was standing with 2 residents. Reed was good. No one denied that. He was fast, confident, and had saved many difficult patients. But he had one serious weakness. He hated being corrected, especially by a nurse. When Anna walked past him, Reed called out, "Anna?" "Yes, doctor. Restock Trauma Bay 3. Already done." Reed paused for half a second, then checked the crash carts. Checked at 5:30. One of the residents glanced at Anna, surprised. Reed turned back to her. "Then find something useful to do." Anna looked at him. Not angry, not sarcastic, just calm. "I usually do." Then she walked away. The resident looked down at his chart to hide a smile. Reed watched Anna go. He didn't dislike her because she was wrong. He disliked her because she was usually right, and people who were usually right but had no title always made the system uncomfortable. That night, the ER was overloaded. A highway accident brought in 3 patients at once. A drunk man was shouting in the waiting area. A child had a high fever. An old veteran sat in the corner, both hands trembling around a plastic cup of water. Anna moved through the chaos as if she could hear every sound separately. When a tray of instruments crashed to the floor, everyone flinched. Anna didn't. She only turned her head toward the sound, confirmed no one was hurt, and kept attaching an IV line. When the drunk man suddenly swung his arm, Anna stepped back exactly half a step. Not too far, not too little, just enough. Then she placed a hand on his wrist, turned it gently, and guided him back into his chair without hurting him. Sit down, sir. The man was about to curse, but when he looked into Anna's eyes, he sat down. No one noticed, except the old veteran in the corner. He watched Anna for a long time. He noticed how she always stood where she could see the exits, how she never fully turned her back to the hallway, how she kept pulling her sleeve down to cover the thin scar on her left wrist. Beside the scar was a small tattoo. A pair of black angel wings. One wing was broken. No one at the hospital had ever asked about it, because Anna was not the kind of person who made others feel entitled to ask about her past. In her breast pocket, she carried an old photograph, its edges worn soft. Behind the photograph was a tiny memory card. Anna had carried it every day for 7 years, not because she wanted to remember, but because some truths, if buried too long, begin killing people again. At 8:42 p.m., Mara Lane began struggling to breathe. She was a 30-year-old elementary school teacher, brought into the ER by her husband after fainting at home. Dr. Reed had diagnosed her with a panic attack. Anna stepped in to check on her. Mara lay in bed, pale, dry-lipped, one hand gripping the sheet. Her husband, Daniel Lane, stood beside her. She says it feels like someone is sitting on her chest. Anna looked at the monitor. Irregular heart rhythm, slightly dropping blood pressure, oxygen lower than when she arrived. Anna checked Mara's legs. One calf was slightly swollen. Not obvious, but enough for Anna to see. She stepped quickly outside Dr. Reed. Reed didn't turn around, not now. Bed 8 needs imaging and a cardiac workup, possible pulmonary embolism. Reed exhaled. We already assessed her. Her oxygen is dropping. She's anxious. Anna lowered her voice. She's dying quietly. The whole ER went still. Reed turned around. What did you say? Anna didn't step back. She needs intervention now. Reed moved closer to her. Do not diagnose over me in my ER. Anna looked at him. Then diagnose faster. One resident looked up. Carla immediately stepped in. Anna, step back. Anna looked through the glass toward Mara. 12 minutes. Reed frowned. What? That's how long you have before this becomes a code. Reed's face reddened. Get out of my trauma bay. Anna looked at him. This time there was something different in her eyes. Not anger, memory. A hallway filled with dust, an alarm siren, a young soldier gripping her wrist, a stretcher that never arrived in time. Anna blinked, returned to the present. Doctor, please. That word, please, surprised a few people, because Anna wasn't begging for herself. She was trying to save Reed's pride before it killed a patient, but Reed didn't understand. Out. Anna didn't leave. And 10 minutes later, Mara Lane stopped breathing. The monitor screamed. Daniel Lane shouted for a doctor. Carla ran in. Reed rushed forward, but Anna was already at the bedside. Her voice was fast, clear, and steady. Bag her, 2 IV lines, call respiratory move. A young nurse looked at Carla, waiting for confirmation. Anna turned to her. Look at me, immediately. Reed stepped in. Anna, back off. Anna didn't turn around. Then take over correctly. The sentence froze him. Over the next few minutes, Anna controlled the airway, stabilized the rhythm, ordered the correct tests, and pulled Mara back from the edge. When Mara began breathing again, Daniel broke down crying. Thank you, Anna only nodded. She needs ICU now. No one clapped. No one said Anna had been right, because admitting Anna was right meant admitting Reed had been wrong, and at St. Gabriel, a doctor's reputation was sometimes protected faster than a patient's life. 30 minutes later, Anna was called into the director's office. Inside were Dr. Reed, Carla Jennings, and Owen Pike, the hospital director. Pike wore an expensive suit and spoke with the voice of a man used to turning systemic failure into individual blame. He pushed a paper toward Anna. Administrative termination effective tonight. Anna read it briefly. For what? Reed answered. Insubordination, unauthorized intervention. Anna looked at him. The patient lived. Pike leaned forward. That is not the point. Anna smiled faintly, a tired smile. It usually isn't. Carla looked down at the table. She said nothing. Anna looked at her. For 1 second, she hoped Carla would speak. Carla had once been a good nurse. Anna knew that. She had once fought for patients, before years of pressure and hierarchy turned her into someone who only avoided trouble. But Carla said nothing. Pike pushed the cardboard box toward her. Clean out your locker. Anna looked at all 3 of them. Then she signed the paper. Not because she agreed, because she had learned a long time ago. There are some battles you don't fight when the enemy has chosen the ground. At 11:13 p.m., Anna was cleaning out her locker when the hospital intercom crackled. Trauma incoming. 5 minutes out, a military ambulance roared into the emergency entrance. The rear doors flew open. 3 soldiers brought out a gurney. The man lying on it was in his 50s, gray-haired, wearing a torn tactical shirt, breathing weakly, blood soaking through a pressure bandage at his side. The name on his chest read, Cole David Harker. Anna saw the name from the end of the hallway. Her hand stopped on the cardboard box. For a moment, the sounds of the ear seemed to fall away. David Harker, the man who had once promised to protect her report, the man who had once said, I'll make sure the truth gets through. Then stayed silent for 7 years. Dr. Reed pulled on gloves. I'm the attending physician. What happened? A young soldier, Sergeant Eli Torres, looked around the room. Where is Anna Mercer? Reed froze. Why? Torres looked straight at him. We were told to find Anna Mercer. Carla stepped forward. She's no longer on duty. Torres didn't blink, then put her back on duty. Anna appeared at the hallway entrance, still holding the cardboard box. Torres saw her. His face changed as if he had just found the one thing still standing tonight. Mom. Anna set the box down. Who sent you? Colonel Harker, before he lost consciousness. Anna walked to the gurney. She looked at Harker. For a few seconds, she was not a nurse. She was a woman left behind with a broken promise. Harker opened his eyes weakly. He looked at her. His lips moved. Anna. She leaned closer. Harker struggled to breathe. Calder. Anna froze. Torres spoke quickly. He activated a secure beacon before the ambulance arrived, said if anything happened, Agent Calder would come. Anna looked at Harker. Why now? Harker couldn't answer. He passed out. Anna blinked. Then the pain disappeared from her face. The nurse returned. She examined the wound, his skin color, sweat, neck, pupils, breathing. It took only seconds. Internal bleeding. Airway compromised, possible poisoning. Reed said immediately, we don't know that. Anna didn't look at him. He smells like bitter almonds. A young nurse whispered. What does that mean? Anna answered. It means this wasn't an accident. Torres leaned close. He was investigating a leak inside Army intelligence. Anna asked, how many people knew he was coming here? Torres answered quietly. 7. Anna looked up, then one of them followed you. At that exact moment, every camera in the emergency department went dark at once. The main lights cut out. Red emergency lights came on. An electronic lock clicked somewhere near the south hallway. Carla looked terrified. What is happening? Anna looked at the security panel. Not a power outage, not a system failure. Someone had used an internal code. Anna spoke fast. Soft lockdown, no overhead announcement. Move non-critical patients to imaging. Freeze the elevators. Lock the south corridor. Carla snapped back. You don't have authority. Anna stepped closer. Carla, there are 32 civilians in this ER. Pick a side. Carla froze. Then she turned to the nurses. Do what she says. Reed looked at Anna. How do you know this? Anna didn't answer. She turned to Torres. How many came with you? 3. How many are still outside? Torres looked through the glass. The 2 soldiers who had escorted them in were gone. Anna said quietly, they're already inside. A sound came from the south hallway. Not loud. Just the slow rolling of metal wheels across the floor. A linen cart appeared at the end of the hall. The man pushing it wore a hospital employee uniform. Carla exhaled. It's laundry. Anna looked at his hands. No employee badge. Shoes that didn't belong to hospital staff. Shoulders too stiff. Steps too even. Anna said softly, everyone down. Reed frowned. What? Anna turned and pulled a young patient away from the glass line of sight. Down. Now. The man pushing the cart reached into the towels. Torres drew his weapon. Anna shouted, Leets! A young nurse hit the auxiliary switch. The hallway lights flared. The fake employee was blinded for half a second. Torres and another soldier rushed him and took him down. No gunshot. But inside the linen cart, they found a syringe filled with clear liquid, a small radio, and a hospital access card. The name on the card belonged to an employee who had quit 3 months earlier. Anna looked at it. Sloan always liked old doors. Torres stared at her. Sloan? Anna didn't answer. But her face changed. She was no longer the quiet nurse at St. Gabriel. In that moment, she was someone who had survived in places where every mistake cost lives. Colonel Harker's blood pressure started dropping. The monitor began beeping rapidly. Reed turned back to the bed. He's crashing. Anna stepped in. We need blood, plasma, warming blankets, and a secure route to surgery. Carla looked at the blood bank panel. The blood bank is locked under emergency override. Only admin clearance can open it. Owen Pike stood near the office door, pale-faced. I'm not authorizing anything until we understand legal exposure. Anna turned to him. Legal exposure? Pike swallowed. This is a military incident. We need legal. Carla cut him off. No. Everyone turned toward her. Carla walked to the access scanner. Pike shouted, Carla, don't you dare! Carla looked at him. 21 years in this hospital, Owen. I have watched good nurses go quiet because men like you called fear policy. She swiped her card. The system rejected it. Carla entered a manual code. Pike moved to stop her. Reed stepped in front of him. Let her work. Pike froze. Carla the code a second time. The storage door unlocked. She turned to the nurses. Blood plasma, now. Anna looked at Carla. She didn't say thank you, but her eyes softened slightly. Carla said quietly, I should have done that for you earlier. Anna answered, do it for him now. Carla nodded, and she did. Reed looked at the lab results appearing on the screen. Coagulation is abnormal. Whatever they used, it's affecting clotting. Anna nodded. Now you see it. Reed looked at her. For the first time, he didn't respond with ego. He asked, what do you need? The whole room paused. Anna looked at him for 1 second, then she said, keep him alive for 10 minutes. Trust your nurses. Stop chasing your ego. Reed picked up his stethoscope. Fair. He turned to the whole ER. You heard her. Nurse Mercer is leading this trauma. Carla stared at him, stunned. Reed raised his voice. Nurse Mercer is leading move. Anna didn't look at Reed, but she heard him. And for Reed, it was the first time in years he had placed a patient above his pride. As Anna changed gloves, her sleeve slipped up. Torres saw the small tattoo on her wrist, black angel wings, one wing broken. His face went pale. He whispered, "Shadow Angel." Reed heard him. "What did you just call her?" Anna looked at Torres. "Not here." But Torres couldn't keep it in. "My brother was in Kandahar. He said there was a medic who walked into fire when everyone else crawled out." Anna kept working. Torres continued, "He said she carried men out when helicopters couldn't land." Nobody knew her real name, only Shadow Angel. The entire ER went silent. Anna asked quietly, "Did your brother make it home?" Torres nodded. "Yes, ma." Anna answered, "Then that's enough." Reed looked at her. She cut him off. "Airway first." Reed nodded. "Airway first." Harker stabilized temporarily, but when Anna stepped into the medication room for more supplies, she stopped in front of the sink. Outside, the ER was still loud. Inside the medication room, there was only the faint hum of fluorescent light. Anna placed both hands on the edge of the sink. She lowered her head, inhaled. Not enough. Inhaled again. Still not enough. On her wrist, the black wings tattoo showed beneath the light. The name Caleb Ross had just been dragged up from the place she had buried deepest. A young soldier, 24 years old, always smiling, always saying that when he got home he would open a repair shop with his younger brother. Anna closed her eyes. She heard Caleb's voice in her memory. "Don't let them bury us, Anna." She opened her eyes. In the mirror, she didn't see the nurse from St. Gabriel. She saw the woman in the dust-covered uniform, hands shaking, eyes red, alive when too many others could not be. The medication room door opened. Dr. Reed stood there. He didn't ask, "Are you okay?" because for the first time in his life he was smart enough to know the question was too small for that kind of pain. He simply held out a fresh pair of gloves. Anna looked at the gloves. Reed said, "They need you." Anna smiled faintly, not with happiness, only with the bitter recognition of something old. "They always do." She took the gloves, put them on, then walked back out. At 11:58 p.m., the front doors of the hospital opened. A man in a perfectly pressed military uniform stepped inside. He was in his 50s, calm posture, clean face, cold eyes. The name on his chest read, Brigadier General Victor Sloan. Torres immediately straightened. "General." Reed looked at him like rescue had arrived. "Thank God. We have a security breach." Sloan looked around the ear, not rushed, not alarmed, as if he already knew everything would happen this way. "I'm aware." Then he looked at Anna. Anna Mercer. Anna stood beside Harker's bed. "Sloan." The room fell silent. No one called a general by his last name alone, unless they had known him somewhere that would never appear in a hospital file. Sloan walked slowly toward her. "I heard you were working nights in a civilian ER." Anna answered. "I heard you were still pretending people died for the right reasons." Reed looked between them. "What is going on?" Sloan addressed the room. 7 years ago, Nurse Mercer served in a classified medical support unit. She became emotionally unstable after a failed operation. Anna didn't react. Sloan continued. "She has a history of disobeying command and fabricating accusations." Anna looked at him. "No, I have a history of surviving bad orders," Torres said. "Sir, Colonel Harker said someone leaked the route." Sloan turned to him. "Sergeant, you're exhausted. Stand down." Anna said one word. "Don't." Torres did not lower his weapon. Sloan looked at Anna. "You always had a gift for making young soldiers believe they mattered." Anna answered. "They do." Sloan smiled, still sentimental. Anna looked at him. "Still afraid of what Harker found?" Sloan's smile disappeared, and in that moment Dr. Reed finally understood. The powerful man who had just entered the hospital had not come to save Colonel Harker. He had come to make sure Harker never woke up. Sloan stepped closer to Anna, lowering his voice. "You think this is about money?" Anna said nothing. Sloan looked around the ER at the patients, at the frightened people. Then he said, "You still look at one life at a time. That was always your weakness." Anna looked at him. "That was my oath." Sloan tilted his head. "Your oath doesn't stop wars. It doesn't protect sources. It doesn't keep networks alive." He looked at Colonel Harker. Harker found pieces of something he didn't understand. Anna said, "He found convoy routes sold to private contractors, medical supplies rerouted, casualty reports altered." Sloan did not deny it. He said, "I protected a program that kept thousands of American soldiers alive." Anna stepped closer. "You sacrificed the ones who became inconvenient." Sloan spoke softly. "Every command decision costs someone." Anna answered, "No, betrayal costs someone. Command just gives cowards a uniform to hide behind." Sloan tightened his gloves. For the first time, he lost his composure. "Do you know what happens if that file gets out? Operations collapse, allies disappear, people in the field die." Anna looked at him. "People already died." Sloan's voice turned colder. "And you never accepted that you couldn't save them all." The sentence hit Anna. A memory flashed in her eyes, dust, blood on her hands. A young soldier named Caleb Ross looking at her and saying, "Don't let them bury us, Anna." Then the sound vanished. Anna stood still. Sloan knew he had touched the wound. He continued, "Give me the drive. Let Harker die as a decorated soldier. Let the past stay buried." Anna looked at him. "Caleb asked me not to." Sloan paused. "Caleb was dead before you reached him." Anna whispered, "That's what you wrote." 7 years earlier, the desert of Afghanistan. Wind blew sand into Anna's eyes as she ran across a broken courtyard between two burning medical vehicles. Back then, she was Staff Sergeant Anna Mercer, a combat medic attached to a battlefield medical support unit connected to intelligence operations. No one called her a hero. No one had time for words like that. They only called her when someone was about to die. "Mercer!" A young soldier had fallen behind a broken concrete wall. His name was Caleb Ross, 24 years old, always smiling, always carrying a photo of his sister in his shirt pocket. Anna slid down beside him. "Caleb, look at me." Caleb tried to smile. "Bad day, huh?" Anna pressed a hand against the wound, keeping her voice steady. "I've seen worse, liar." "Yeah." She looked around. No helicopter, no support, no safe route out. The medical convoy was supposed to turn north, but 10 minutes earlier, a new order from command had forced them to change direction. That order carried Sloane's signature. Caleb gripped Anna's wrist. The route was burned. Anna looked at him. "What?" Caleb struggled to breathe. "They knew where we'd be." Anna leaned closer. "Who?" Caleb didn't get to answer. From the other side of the wall, Colonel Harker shouted, "Mercer, we have to move." Anna looked at Caleb. "I'm getting you out." Caleb shook his head slightly. Save the others, Anna didn't listen. She pulled him up, one hand on her medical bag, one arm around Caleb, step by step through smoke, through shouting, through shattered glass, until Harker helped pull Caleb onto a stretcher. Caleb gripped Anna's wrist one last time. "Don't let them bury us." Anna leaned closer. "I won't." Caleb looked at her. "Promise." Anna answered, "Promise." After that, everything became helicopter noise, radio static. Harker saying, "I'll take the report, I'll get it through." And then Sloane's voice, cold as steel. "Staff Sergeant Mercer is emotionally compromised." 2 weeks later, Anna was removed from the unit. Her report disappeared. Caleb Ross's name was placed into one short line in the file. "Killed before medical contact." Anna read that line 10 times. Then she understood they had not only killed the truth, they had forced her to live with the belief that she had arrived too late. Back in the present, Anna stood in the ER, her hands cold. Sloane looked at her. "You can't win this." Anna slowly turned back toward the cardboard box. She picked up the old photograph. In it was a battlefield medical team. A younger Anna stood in uniform beside 6 soldiers. One of them was Colonel Harker. One was Victor Sloane, back when he was still a colonel. One was Caleb Ross. Anna turned the photograph over. A tiny memory card was taped to the back. The whole ER stared. Sloane said, "You kept a copy." Anna answered, "I kept their voices." Sloane stepped forward. Torres raised his weapon. "Sir, don't." Sloane looked at Torres. "Sergeant, you are pointing a weapon at a general officer." Torres swallowed. Anna said quietly, "Ellie." Torres didn't take his eyes off Sloane. "Yes, Mom, breathe." Torres inhaled, held steady. Sloane looked at Anna. "Look what you do. You turn children into traitors." Anna answered, "No, I remind soldiers they still have a choice." Engines rumbled outside the entrance. A nurse looked through the glass. Cars, 4 black SUVs stopped outside the ER. Doors opened. Agents in suits stepped out, not rushed, not panicked, but every step had purpose. Sloane looked at Anna. "You called them?" Anna shook her head. No. She looked down at Colonel Harker. He did. The woman with short hair and a black coat walked in, raising her badge. Federal Military Crimes Division. Special Agent Renee Calder. Sloane immediately changed his tone. "Agent Calder, this is an active military matter. You have no jurisdiction inside this facility while I am assuming command." Calder looked at him. Not afraid, not hurried. 12 years ago, my partner disappeared after questioning a supply transfer in Helmand. Sloane went silent. Calder continued. His file was stamped accidental. His body came home with 3 pages missing from the report. She looked at Anna. Your name was handwritten in the margin of one of those pages. Anna looked at her, surprised. Calder turned back to Sloane. "I've been looking for the person they called Shadow Angel for a long time." Sloane gave a faint smile. "Then you've been chasing a ghost." Calder answered. "Ghosts don't carry evidence." Anna handed Calder the memory card. "Everything is there. Convoy routes, stolen medical supplies, altered casualty reports, names and audio." Sloane stepped forward. "That material is classified." Calder looked at him. "So is treason." But Sloane wasn't finished. He pulled an envelope from his coat, emergency military containment order. Owen Pike immediately stepped forward. "If that order is valid, we have to comply." Reed looked at Pike. "There are patients being treated here." Pike lowered his voice. "Malcolm, stay out of this." Sloane looked at Calder. "You will leave. Nurse Mercer will be detained for possession of classified material. Colonel Harker will be transferred to military custody." Anna looked at Harker. If Harker left the ER now, he would not survive. Calder quickly read the order. Her face didn't change, but her eyes grew colder. "This order is missing a federal countersignature." Sloane answered, "Delayed due to operational urgency." Calder looked at him. "Convenient." Sloane turned to the 2 soldiers with him. "Move the patient." The men advanced toward Harker. Reed stepped in front of the gurney. Sloane looked at him. "Doctor, move." Reed swallowed, but he didn't move. "No." The entire room went silent. Sloane narrowed his eyes. You don't understand what you're interfering with, Reed said. For the first time tonight, I think I do. Carla stepped beside Reed. The patient is unstable. He cannot be moved, Pike snapped. Carla turned to him. Then fire me too. 1 second, 2 seconds, then a young nurse stepped beside Carla, then a resident, then Torres. Sloan looked at them. His calm began to crack. Sloan turned to Owen Pike. Director Pike, if you allow the transfer of classified material, your hospital will lose every federal contract it has. Pike went pale. Calder looked at him. If you obstruct this investigation, your hospital will have a different problem before sunrise. Pike stood between two fears, military power on one side, federal law on the other. Then he looked across the ER at Mara Lane being taken to the ICU, at Daniel Lane still shaking after almost losing his wife, at the child in the waiting area clinging to his mother, at Anna Mercer, the woman he had just fired for saving a patient. Pike slowly walked to the backup security camera console beside the nurse's station. He flipped the local recording switch. A red light came on. Pike spoke, his voice still shaking. This hospital will not transfer an unstable patient. Sloan looked at him. Careful. Pike swallowed, then continued, and we will preserve all security footage. For federal review, the whole ER went silent. Pike did not become a hero. No one mistook him for a brave man. But that night, for the first time, he chose the living over the contract. Anna looked at him. She didn't praise him. She only gave him a very small nod. For Pike, that was enough. Suddenly, the radio taken from the fake laundry worker crackled. A man's voice came through. Pediatrics now. Anna snapped her head around. Sloan did not look toward pediatrics, but the corner of his mouth moved slightly, very fast. Anna saw it. A second man, not there for Harker, there to create chaos, there to pull Calder away from the memory card, there to make the ER lose control. A scream came from the pediatric wing. A young nurse ran out. There's someone in pediatrics. Torres started to move. Anna stopped him. Stay with Harker. Mom, stay with him. Reed stepped forward. I'll go. Anna looked at him. This isn't a code blue. Reed answered. I know. He swallowed. Tell me what to do. Anna looked at him for 1 second, then nodded. Hands where they can see them. Voice low. Don't be brave. Be useful. Reed nodded. Useful. Got it. Inside the pediatric room, a man in a hospital jacket was using a young nurse as a shield. An 8-year-old boy was hiding under the bed, trembling. Reed entered first. Hey, I'm Dr. Reed, the man shouted. Stay back. Reed raised both hands. I'm not armed. Anna appeared behind the door, silent as a shadow. Reed continued, his voice shaking but slow. There's a child in here. Let him walk out. The man glanced under the bed, only half a second. Anna moved. She came in from the blind angle, knocked his hand aside with a metal tray, pulled the young nurse away, and pinned his wrist against the edge of the bed. Torres rushed in to assist. No gunshot, no spectacle, just fast, precise, final. Reed carried the boy out. The child clung tightly to his neck. Reed stood in the hallway, breathing hard. He looked at Anna. This time there was no arrogance in his eyes, only shame and gratitude. You did fine. Reed shook his head. No, I finally listened. Calder inserted the memory card into a secure device. Files appeared, convoy routes, supply transfers, altered casualty reports, audio logs. One final file made Anna go still. The file name read Ross.Null Transmission. Anna stared at it. Her face went pale. She took half a step back. Torres asked quietly, Mom? Anna didn't answer. Calder looked at her. You don't have to listen. Anna looked at the screen. For 7 years, she had thought she knew Caleb's final words. She thought she remembered every breath, every word, every look in his eyes. But this file had not been in the copy she had opened. Harker had kept it separate, or Sloan had buried it. Anna whispered, Play it. Static hissed. Wind, a distant helicopter, a young soldier struggling to breathe. Caleb Ross's voice came through. Anna, if this reaches you. Anna closed her eyes. The whole ER went silent. Caleb's voice continued, You didn't fail us, you hear me? You got more men out than anyone could have. Anna gripped the edge of the table. Her fingers trembled. Caleb continued. Sloan changed the route. Harker tried to stop him. They'll make it look like confusion. It wasn't. Anna opened her eyes. Tears had risen, but she didn't let them fall. Caleb struggled for breath in the recording. Don't let them make you carry what they did. Anna brought a hand to her mouth. For 7 years, she had believed Caleb died because she had arrived too late. She believed that if she had been faster, better, stronger, he would have lived. But the truth was that Caleb had known. He had left his final words not only to expose Sloan, but to free her. The audio crackled one more time. Caleb's voice grew weaker. Tell Shadow Angel, she saved us. Even the ones who didn't make it home. The file ended. No one said anything. Anna stood still. She didn't cry hard. Only one tear fell. But for someone who had stayed silent for 7 years, that single tear weighed more than sobbing. Harker opened his eyes weakly. He looked at her. I tried to get it to you. Anna looked at him. Why didn't you? Harker struggled to breathe. Sloan buried it. I was scared. I let them take your name because I thought I could fix it later. He swallowed with difficulty. I'm sorry, Anna. Anna looked at the man who had failed to protect her. There was pain in her eyes. But there was also something releasing, a burden she had carried far too long. She answered, Stay alive, then apologize properly. Harker gave a weak laugh, then passed out again. Anna turned to Reed. Now we get him to surgery. Reed nodded immediately. Yes, Mom. Sloan was handcuffed in the ER. There was no dramatic fight, no gunfire. Only the heavy silence of a powerful man finally being dragged into the light. As he was led past Anna, Sloan stopped. You think this gives you your life back? Anna looked at him. No hatred, no joy, only calm. No, she looked toward Harker being prepared for surgery. But it gives theirs back. Sloan had nothing left to say. After he was led away, the ER stayed silent. Dr. Reed stepped closer to Anna. For the first time, he did not stand like her superior. He stood like a man who finally understood he had been wrong. Anna, she was checking the IV line. Reed said quietly, I owe you an apology. Anna didn't look at him right away. She adjusted the oxygen tubing, then answered, You owe Mrs. Lane one too. Reed swallowed. Anna looked at him. And every nurse you stop listening to. The words hit harder than any insult, because they were true. Reed nodded. I'll start tonight. He turned to Carla. Pull Mara Lane's chart. Full review. Include Nurse Mercer's original warning. Carla looked at him, then at Anna. I should have spoken up. Anna answered. Not for me. Carla understood. Anna didn't need pity. She needed the hospital to stop ignoring the people who saw danger first. Torres stepped forward. He stood at attention in front of Anna. Then he raised his hand in salute. Another soldier did the same. Then the third. Anna looked at them. Pain passed through her eyes. Don't. Torres lowered his hand. Anna said, I'm not a symbol. I'm a nurse. Torres answered, Yes, Mom. Anna turned back to the patient, then helped me keep him alive. The next morning, the rain had stopped. Soft sunlight came through the windows of the staff break room. Anna sat alone at a small table. A cold cup of coffee sat in front of her. Outside, the ER had returned to its familiar rhythm. Monitors beeping, families asking questions, doctors calling for nurses, gurneys rolling through the hallway. Colonel Harker had survived surgery. Mara Lane was stable in the ICU. General Sloan had been taken away. The names inside the memory card were beginning to be investigated, but Anna still sat there, quietly, as if the night had changed nothing. Carla entered first. She placed a file on the table. I added your warning to the record. Anna looked at the file. Carla continued, and I told the board I failed you. Anna didn't answer right away. Then she said, Don't fail the next one. Carla nodded, then left. A few moments later, Dr. Reed entered. He carried a fresh cup of coffee. He set it down in front of Anna. Neither of them spoke for a few seconds. Then he asked, Will you come back? Anna looked at the coffee. Then she looked out into the ER hallway. A new patient was being pushed in. A young nurse called out, We need help in trauma too. Anna stood, picked up a pair of gloves, walked toward the door. Before leaving the break room, she said, I never left. Reed stood there. He didn't know what to say. Anna stepped back into the ER. No one clapped. No one called her a hero. No one needed to. Because this time, when she walked past them, they saw her, not as the quiet night nurse they had fired, not as the secret name Shadow Angel, but as the woman she truly was, someone who had lost too much, stayed silent too long, and still chose to save people. Anna Mercer's story did not end with her defeating a traitor. It ended with something harder. She walked back into the room that had underestimated her, not to prove them wrong, but to keep doing what she had never stopped doing, keeping people alive. For 7 years, St. Gabriel thought Anna Mercer was the quiet nurse at the end of the hall. That night, they learned the truth. Some people are silent because they are weak, but some people are silent because they survived places where noise only made people die faster. And sometimes the humblest person in the room is the only one who has walked through hell, carried others back, and quietly returned for the next shift.